can't live in Gaza right now, and I think we need another location. I think it should be a location that's going to make people happy. If we can get a beautiful area to resettle people permanently in nice homes and where they can be happy and not be shot, not be killed, not be knifed to death like what's happening in Gaza, I don't think people should be going back to Gaza.
Would Palestinians have the right to return to Gaza if they left while the rebuilding was happening?
It would be my hope that we could do something really nice, really good, where they wouldn't want to return.
How many people are you thinking about?
All of them.
Donald Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu, two men who are endangering Jewish people everywhere with this sort of rhetoric. They are not making anyone safer. They are warmongers who play into the deepest fears and sow division so they can run from being held accountable.
And then the whole Gaza thing, which is absolute disgrace. It's a disgrace to upend all those people who have been through the most torturous time. Of course, Hamas did not help the situation right at the start. That was horrific and unforgivable, and I'm completely anti that. But the way it's gone on, and then to have him come out with, oh well, I'll make it into a sort of a kind of waterfront.
Actor Brian Cox, speaking with Channel 4 News, despises what he has seen from these two men, specifically Trump, because as we know, if the United States cared about the Middle East, the shipping of weapons and sending a blank check would be the first line to be drawn.
The U.S. will take over the Gaza Strip, and we will do a job with it too. We'll own it and be responsible for dismantling all of the dangerous unexploded bombs and other weapons on the site, level the site and get rid of the destroyed buildings, level it out, create an economic development that will supply unlimited numbers of jobs and housing for the people of the area. Do a real job, do something different. Just can't go back. If you go back, it's going to end up the same way it has for 100 years. I'm hopeful that this ceasefire could be the beginning of a larger and more enduring peace that will end the bloodshed and killing once and for all. With the same goal in mind, my administration has been moving quickly to restore trust in the alliance and rebuild American strength throughout the region. And we've really done that. We're a respected nation again. A lot's happened in the last couple of weeks. We are actually a very respected nation again. I ended the last administration's de facto arms embargo on over $1 billion in military assistance for Israel. And I'm also pleased to announce that this afternoon, the United States withdrew from the anti-Semitic UN Human Rights Council and ended all of the support for the UN Relief and Works Agency.
However, if there is one thing we have learned as it pertains to this subject,
I'll just say, when I went to Israel, immediately after their attack by Hamas, 8 days later, whatever it was. And I told them we were going to help. And I said, but Bibi, I said, you can't be carpet bombing these communities. And he said to me, well, you did it.
no matter the administration, whether blue or red, the parties align with Benjamin Netanyahu, no matter who is a casualty in the process.
The thing about Gaza, the thing that got me is the children. For those kids who live in a kind of innocence, what they've gone through in the last few years is horrific. And then to have that idiot turn around and say, oh, well, we'll make it a new Riviera, that's what we'll do. You go, where is your sense of humanity, man? Where is it? It isn't present. It's based on the deal. The deal isn't going to help you in this situation. It's not about a deal, it's about human beings. It's about human beings trying to live in a society and trying to create a society that will function for them. Not about a bloody deal.
But if you look in terms of dollars, $3 billion, $533 million, $525 million, that's peanuts for you. Should have increased it. $880 million, $645 million, $6 billion, that's for frigates. 889 million, 63 million, and that's for various artillery. Some of the things that we're now working on, thanks, and that have been ordered and will shortly be started in construction and delivered. THAAD system, $13 billion.
On this piece of video and the system currently in place, Cox would bluntly state,
It's all about greed. And when greed gets in the way, then things start to get meaningless. You know, it shouldn't be about greed. It should be about serving and embetterment of people. And it hasn't been like that for a long time.
amen to that. All Trump and his cohorts care about is the next paycheck from their donors. Thus, they will cut Social Security, they will cut Medicare, they will cut Medicaid, all to funnel it to those who gave them campaign donations to pay it forward. And here we are stateside still yelling at each other on political parties rather than the oligarchs who are robbing us blind.
So, Mr. President, like any good socialist plan, socialist.
I'm not a socialist.
Socialism. You almost deserve the pestilence that happens to you if you go into that willingly. Going, okay, they're a bunch of crazy socialists, let's go there.
Socialism.
A socialist.
21st century socialists.
Socialist.
They're not socialists.
Socialism.
Socialism.
Socialism or capitalism.
A failed socialist leader.
And that's where we're headed.
Socialism doesn't work.
Open border socialist Democrats.
They're spreading. Literally spreading.
The biggest boogeyman to conservatives is something they allow their donors to partake in: socialism. Elon Musk is rich because of, quote, government handouts. Billionaire sports owners get tax dollars to build new stadiums through socialist practices.
But the potential is out there for another Hitler, socialist like Hitler, to come along.
The awful thing about that, they were the Nazis. It's the Nazis that's terrible, not the socialists.
They were fascists. They weren't socialists. They were fascists, the Nazi Party.
They claimed to be socialists, and they were.
We got some new sheriffs in town that are supposedly running the House of Representatives. I think your colleague just told us where they're running to.
Yeah,
They're running,
to the left.
They're running to the left. They're embracing socialism.
Yet this alleged sexual abuser, Matt Schlapp, the leader of CPAC, bashes it. How ironic. Brian?
I am a socialist in principle. I am a socialist. I just felt that that what happened with the Labour Party and what happened with Blair under, falling in line with Bush and Rumsfeld and Cheney and all of that, it was just a pretty horrific time. And I felt that Tony was led to sort of betray certain ideology, I think. And I felt that social democracy was failing miserably. And therefore I resorted to the fact that what I'd ignored and what a lot of especially young actors who come from the Celtic islands like Wales or Scotland or Ireland, is that we are trying to find who we are within this setup of Britain, and it's tough at times. It was great in the 60s because it was more egalitarian. There was such a sense of egalitarian that we were all on the same page working towards the same end. But as time's gone on, so my disillusionment, which was not really with the Labour Party, but it was with Blair, and I always felt sorry for Gordon Brown because I felt he was on the horns of a big dilemma most of the time. But so I just lost that, and then I decided, well, where can I retread to? And I looked at my own country, and I thought, and I realized, how poorly we'd been treated as the Scots, and I just felt that we need to have our own sense of ourselves so that we can take part in a united kingdom.
Hey, I appreciate you watching. Now, if you can, please do become a channel member by going to youtube.com/TYTsports and clicking the join button. If that's too much for you, you can just go to tyt.com/join to become a member. It helps all of us out here at the Young Turks and keeps our network afloat. In addition, you could follow me on my socials on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Appreciate the love. Have a great day.